I'm Brenda.
And I'm Christy. We're two friends from high school who are connecting and reconnecting over music and memories.
Welcome to Normal Bias Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
I wanted to introduce this episode. This episode is with, I call him a friend. His name is Dennis, and I met him 3 years ago for 3 hours on an excursion while I was on vacation with my sons at a destination wedding for some friends of ours. And we went ziplining, and Dennis was our tour guide. And as soon as I got out of the van, I stepped onto the curb. I don't even think the rest of our party was out of the van yet. Dennis is like, hello, and, saying hi to us and welcoming us and introducing himself to us. And immediately I was just gravitated to him. I wanted to know him, know everything I could about him. I went from 0 to obsessed, and y'all know me when I am that way. Oh my gosh, scary. But no, the boys and I just fell in love with his personality and his smile, and he was so funny. And Matt, I just remember Matt saying, Mom, you need to get his social media. So yes, before I left there, we were Facebook friends. We took a picture with him. It's framed on our stairs in our house. And tonight I got to talk to him again. And I hadn't talked to him since we met 3 years ago. We've been social media friends. We comment and kind of talk through Instagram and Facebook, but that's it. And so it was so much fun tonight, and it just picked up where we left off. And he's just that same energetic, he's just a wonderful person. And I am so glad that I went on that trip and that I went on that excursion, because I was afraid, because I'd never zipped lined in heights and all those things. But if I had not gone, I would have never met him. And y'all know, I believe that we meet people for reasons that we don't know why or how come, but I'm just glad. And now he's met Christy, and we just had a great conversation. I can't wait for you to listen. And the takeaway from it for me is love what you do what you love. And no matter your age, like where you are, who you are, how old you are, what your job is, where you are in your life, you, just by being you, can impact someone's life. You can change someone's life. You can make someone see things differently. You can make someone laugh, someone smile, feel good, feel happy. You can do that just by being you. And that is what Dennis did on August 17th, 2017 in Cancun, Mexico, while my boys and I were on vacation. He did that, and we love him for it. We love you, Dennis. And this is our episode with him. It was a great conversation, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, y'all. Hey, Normal Biasers. This is Brenda and Christy, and welcome back to our podcast. We have a very special guest. I am so excited. I feel like I have dreamt of this conversation since the day we met. Dennis, welcome to Normal Bias Podcast.
Thanks, ladies.
How are you?
Good. Muy bien. Gracias.
So, you guys met before we started recording. Christy and I went to high school together.
Okay.
And this COVID, our podcast was born during quarantine. We used to have conversations, Christy, all the time, and we just always pick up where we left off. She actually had a podcast before this one. And so anyway, here we are. And cool. So you have been on my guest list since the get-go.
You asked me so many. I'm so sorry. I think we tried a few months ago, and then but we're here now.
But here we are.
Last week you reached out again, and I was like, now's the time.
Now is the time.
Schedule it. Let's just get it done. Let's do it.
Yes. So every time I explain who you are in my life, people are like, what? So 3 years ago, my boys and I were invited to a destination wedding for some friends of ours. And it was in Cancun, Mexico. And at the time, my dad was sick with cancer, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to go, but we went with his blessing. And during our trip, we were on an excursion. We were going ziplining, and we all get in the van, a group of us. I think there was like 20 of us maybe from the wedding party and some of the guests. And literally, as soon as we got out of the van that drove us from the hotel to, how do you say it?
Selvatica.
Yes.
Selvatica. Sí.
Selvatica.
Ándale.
Okay. And you know, these things are random. Like you get, I guess you get, is there a line? Like you get groups? I don't know. So we get out of the van.
Yeah, they say, yeah, they assign like each tour leader a tour that day, like of the 4 time slots available, and God put us on the same path. So I think you were 10:30 or something. So
it was early, and so we get out of the van, and I don't even think everyone was out of the van yet. And as soon as Dennis opened his mouth and got close to us, my boys and I were like, "Who is this guy? He is awesome. We must get to know him right now." I'm like, even my son, my 15-year-old, he was like, "Mom, you have to get his social media."
Oh, cool. You like all we like each other's things all the time. You're one of my consistent fans.
Oh, I was like fan seriously from the get-go. And so, Christy, so we get out of the van and we start our excursion. And I was just, it went from 0 to obsessed. Seriously, Dennis's energy, you just, you're just so infectious, and your smile, and you're like hilarious. Like he just had this whole bit. I'm telling you, we were hook, line, and sinker before we even got on a zip line.
You caught me on a good day, thank goodness.
Oh my gosh, so that's how we met. And I mean, after that, I think before we left, I had Facebook friended you, and but that was about it. So we've been just social media friends since then.
We spent 3 hours together.
Yes, 3 hours, and that's it.
So Dennis, is this common in your line of work that you're like become like real life friends with the people that you meet on? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I'm still doing it actually. Yeah. 5 years later, I always say I'm gonna go do something else.
No, I think it sounds
I like it.
Fabulous. But so is it common for you to like make like real friends with the people? Because you know, like when we go on vacation, you meet people and you love them, but you don't necessarily keep up. Is this normal?
No, I mean there's probably a handful of people, but not every day by any means, nor monthly. I would say probably not very many. I could count on my
Not that many Brendas out there.
Yeah, I mean, we might become friends on social media or whatever, but we never really talk after that. Or they'll message me like, "Hey, can you give me a discount or whatever?" The extent of the conversation. Wow.
Okay, we're gonna mark that off the list.
Right.
Don't ask Dennis for discounts.
No, you can do it next time. Well, for sure, for you too, 100%.
That was
it's cheap to do excursions. So
that was.
No, I remember another thing I applied for. One thing that really I think what brought our virtual friendship to the next level was when I did this. I tried out for a campaign with one of my good friends to be like represent like the Cancun CEO, which was like a virtual social media blogger that would promote Cancun, and it was a big competition, and I was spamming people's email and everything, asking them vote for me.
Oh, I was sharing.
Oh yeah.
Did you get it?
No.
Can you get it in the future?
No, I think it was just a one-time thing that they did. Like it was right after I met you. I think it was.
Mm-hmm. It was shortly after.
Yeah, but I never saw it again. It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
You could still do it. Just don't do it with them.
See,
right.
Like a travel blog type of thing, definitely. See?
Yeah, that's huge right now on social media.
But that was something cool. Like somebody I hardly knew took the time to like Give me such a blast. And her words, I remember how kind her words were. Which, oh, you deserve this type of thing. This is so you, etc. Even though it didn't work out, like I feel the love, you know?
Uh-huh.
See.
Okay. So during the 3 hours, I tried to find out as much as I could. Again, it was just like this person that I needed to know. Like I was so fascinated that you were immersed in the language, that you were an American living in Mexico. And so I'd found out you're from Arizona. Another thing that struck a chord with me was you mentioned your grandmother, your Grams.
Yeah, I did talk about her, did I?
You did. And
I still talk about her every day.
And I love that. And because my parents, their parents had either passed away very young, or my dad's dad lived in Mexico, and so I didn't grow up with grandparents, and so I just remember hearing those tidbits that you shared that day, and I was like, oh wow. And that was just another thing too. I was like, look, this guy just loves his grandma so much. Like, wow. And so I was really taken by that, y'all's relationship. So I want to, Christy asked you a while ago, tell us how you got there. Tell us how you went from Arizona to Mexico, and
what happened in between.
Random. I mean, I studied political science. I never really worked in the field. After I finished college, I decided I was going to move to Miami. It was like on a whim type of impulse. I'm a very impulsive person. I have a very like gypsy exploratory soul. Like I'm very wanderlust 100%. Like I love traveling. There's nothing greater to me than like going on a new trip or meeting a new place. So I went on vacation to Miami like my last year of college, and I decided, you know what, I'm moving here. So after I finished that very summer, I quit my job, sold my car, like sold everything I had, moved with 3 bags to Miami. I worked there for a year. It wasn't really my scene. It was too intense. I didn't really like the vibe there. I mean, it's a great place to visit, but to live there, it's a very tough city. The aura isn't very bright. It's not a very people aren't as enjoyable as they are in other places. It's very materialistic, very party driven. And it was fun. I mean, I'm glad I went for a year. It was a good time. I lived right on Miami Beach. Like the beach was beautiful. I liked my apartment. I would go rollerblading on the pier every day. Like it was a good experience. It was a cool year, you know? But that same, 5 summers ago, so the summer of 2015, one of my coworkers and I, we went to vacation. I came back to Tulum, and I went to Mexico City as well. And I was like, you know what? I need to be in Mexico. It was like this seed that was planted in my head that, I was 26 at the time. And so I was like, you know what? It's now or never. Like, I can do this. I can move there. I started looking for jobs online. I applied for Delta. I applied for Toyota in Mexico City. Like, I would go anywhere. I didn't care where it was, really, just to like get my foot in the door. You know? And one night I was actually rollerblading, and I was going like to the south point of the island, and I saw some friends sitting at a cafe. So I sat there with them, and they were with somebody I didn't know, and he happened to be Mexican Cuban American. So I think it was his dad's side of the family. They actually own the land where Selvatica is.
Oh.
I don't know if you're gonna be speaking Spanish with the waiter or how it really worked out, but we got to talking, and I told him like I was looking for a job in Mexico, and that I wanted to move back, that I'd lived there before, and like my heart's there, and I was all, like, when you're like on cloud 10 about a certain vibe, and you feel like something has to happen. That's how I was, So I gave him my resume through email and everything, and less than a week later, like I got an email from the manager of Selvatica. And at that point I was working Monday, Friday, and Saturday. So I had a job that was 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like in a high-end lounge nightclub. I made great money in Miami, like 60 times more what I'm making here. Okay. But I wasn't happy,
Right.
So I got off work. It was a Monday when I got this email, and I had to go to work at like 7:30 that night. So at 12:30 we were emailing back and forth. I'm like looking for airline tickets, and I actually left the next morning. Like my flight was at 6 a.m. So I got off work, had my suitcase ready, went straight to the airport.
Wow.
And I didn't even know where it was. Like I was like, where am I going to stay? Like I almost stayed in the middle of the jungle. but I found a place called Puerto Morelos, which is probably, I don't know, 30 minutes from Cancun. So right in between like Cancun and Playa del Carmen is another little beach port, like a fishing city.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest habitable place to Selvatica. You know? So I found this random Airbnb, or I don't know what it was. Yeah, booking.com locale, like in the Colonia, like in the downtown
The
part,
hood.
like $50 for 4 days. You know what I mean? And so I just got there, checked in, got a bike, and had my interview the next day. Rode around town, ate ceviche, walked on the beach, and I was like, "Oh, this is my place." No, I knew right then. I knew that that's what I would do. So they hired me. I mean, my Spanish was good then, but at the same time, like I didn't really understand like how many hours a day it would be. I thought it was like 4 hours a day. She told me my salary would be 3,500 pesos every 2 weeks. So 3,500, 7,000 pesos a month. Okay. So in US dollars, that's like $325. So I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, I don't know how much I had saved up, but I came here and didn't even realize I'd be making what I used to make in 1 day.
Right.
A month, you know what I mean? And then from then on, like, I don't know, I just.
Please tell me you get tips.
Yeah. When I first started, actually, I entered as a receptionist, so I didn't make tips at that time. So that was like 5 years ago. I just had like the pure salary and then like a small commission.
Wow.
But now I'm at the same company and I make, way more. Like I just got promoted like 2 weeks ago to sub management position. So that's cool. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And so you left Arizona. Were you born and raised in Arizona?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Scottsdale.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. And so your family is all there? Your grams, is that what she?
My grandma. See, my grandma's like my mom. My mom died when I was 18, actually. So like when I lived in Mexico the first time, she passed away like that same year. So my studies were like interrupted. I would go I went back to Phoenix like 4 times during that academic year. You know what I mean?
Wow.
See, so my grandma's like she's definitely my mother figure.
Yes.
Sure. My family's super small, but she has Facebook, we WhatsApp all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if she came after. I think she came after you were there. Like
I think she
came here to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I brought her on the zip lines, and she did the bungee swing, the cars. Yeah.
I just saw I saw pictures from that time last night. I was like remembering. I was like, oh, Grams.
Yeah. No, she's super cool.
Yeah. So something you said, and this is what I kind of messaged you earlier about what I wanted to talk about, is because so you lived in Miami, and I totally agree about the vibe. I visited there with my ex-husband one time, for he had to be there for work, and we'd never been, and so I did. I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad I've been here to see it, but I didn't need to go back and all those things. And so you're living there and you say you're making money and all this, but you weren't happy. No. And then you moved to Mexico making way less, but you're so happy. It's just that this is one of the things that I love about you, is that you're doing what you love and you love what you do, and you're surrounded by this beauty that is Cancun, or, and so I love that so much, especially at this time in my life when I've just turned 48, where that is so important. Yes.
48?
48.
You look good.
Yeah,
like 38, 39, 40 top.
I love you. No, seriously, 48. So it's this thing that I want kids to know.
You were that old. Wow.
Oh my gosh, I just love you so much. Yes, 48.
That's
so
great.
so I want that message to get across to people, is that you have to love what you do and to be happy. The money, that does not to me matter.
I think everybody knows that, really, but unfortunately it's like in today's world, that's one of the things that we idolize. So money is like we're slaves to money. We really are. Like that's one thing. People want more. We want human nature. It's in our nature to want more. We feel like we don't have enough. But like in this quarantine period, for instance, so my salary is low, but during this time they cut our salary in half. So like it was even lower, So I had to accommodate, but it teaches you like how much you really need, and it shows you like that you can still live and be happy as well, like with less. It's all about adjusting certain things that we think we need that we don't really need. I still ate. I ate more. I ate like Now,
We ate a lot in quarantine, Dennis. We
oh,
ate
good.
a lot at home.
No, it was a great time for like self-reflection. And especially this year, like, we're talking about being happy and everything. I'm so happy that you, like, I love that you say that. It makes me, I don't know, reflect upon myself even more, that you admire my positivity, because sometimes I feel like I'm not positive. I think we all think that, no? Like we all think,
Right.
or I don't know, like maybe I'm complaining too much or I say things, but the fact that you think that, I love it. You know?
No, I do. I definitely think, like we all have those days, but you are a silver lining person. We talk about that a lot. Like, when there's this one picture of you that I just love so much, and you're pointing to the sky and the sun is setting, like, I like that you point out the things that it's about. I really feel that, like, the love for your grandma, you love your friends and traveling, like you just enjoy life, and you're just out there. And have you always been fearless like that, to just like say, hey, I'm going to move here, I'm going to sell everything and go and rollerblade in Miami?
Yeah,
Like,
I
what
think,
were you like as a kid?
oh yeah, 100%. Like, funny, as a child, you want to hear how
Yeah.
Mexican I really am. Like, I was 2 when I went to my parents went to a wedding together, you know? And it was like in a big convention center in downtown Phoenix, and I went missing. They didn't know where I was. Mom was like checking in the street. My dad was up in the other rooms. There happened to be like a quinceañera that was going on as well. So eventually they found me. I was like in the middle, little 2-year-old in a tuxedo dancing with all the girls in the quinceañera. As a child, I was always, oh yeah, very imaginative.
Yes, I love that so much. So when you were in college studying political science, like what did you want to be when you grow up? What did you think you were
Because
going
I
to
still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
people, I don't have it all figured out by any means. No, I really wouldn't say.
Guess
like,
what?
Like what you said, I want to be happy. I want to find true happiness. No?
Yes.
As humans, we suffer. We go through rough patches, and I think, first of all, to really define what happiness is something that's not easy. I don't know. I think it's a mix of objectivity and subjectivity. I think that for everybody, happiness is a different thing, but at the same time, what is it? Does it exist in this material plane that we're on, or is it something that you have to search within yourself, or is it a combination of internal and external values? But I wanted to be an actor. That's still one of my big passions. Like I loved acting. The politics, I don't know. I'm fascinated by philosophy and cultural studies, and I think, I don't know. I guess I went through a phase where power was kind of an intriguing aspect. I regret saying that, I think, sometimes, but I really wanted to I wanted to be a politician. I thought it would be fun.
But I don't know, because I believe there's power. You would bring good to that power. Like,
See, maybe
definitely.
you're right.
Yes.
But then when I see what the world has become and what politicians have done to them. I mean, look at the US, look at Mexico, like look what's happening now all over the place. Like politically, I think that people need more, I don't know what they need. I think less politicians and
More
examples, people that lead by example instead of, I don't know. The world is such a mess in that sense.
That's what I like, Dennis. Like my dream politically is to have someone run for president or run for whatever that I respect that person, and I know that person has good intentions and will look at the greater good, not just to serve their agenda or their purposes or whatever. And that's so lacking. So to hear someone with your outlook say that you're interested in politics, you're young. You are very young yet. I mean, there's no telling what even if you did local politics there, or like grassroots stuff, or school board, I know education there is a huge, I don't want to say issue, but I know it's huge. They're like trying to figure out how to make it across the board equitable for the kids that live in different things. But
especially here in Mexico, like definitely, I mean, if you don't go to a private school, Mexico has a different type of internal problem when it comes to society. It's a very classist country, and it's very evident. Like it's the haves and the have-nots. It's almost like in the U.S., like white privilege. We all know it exists, and it definitely is a systematic problem. Like there's a race problem in the U.S. Oh, we know that. Mexico has like a very similar issue when it comes to race. It's like public schools are very underfunded. People, they learn basic reading and writing skills. And then everybody, if you want your child to have a good education, even a good primary education, you have to pay monthly. like as if you send them to a private school, etc.
Yeah.
But people here are so happy, regardless if they can read or write. Like that's one thing I love about Mexico. Like regardless, poor, middle class, rich, I would say the majority of people are genuinely, Latin America in general, people are very happy. Like they teach them, I don't know what they do as children or what they teach them when they're young, but they teach them more appreciation, more gratitude, something that I think as Americans sometimes we lack. Like I don't think we appreciate necessarily all the time. I'm not speaking about
No.
everybody in general. I'm speaking objectively
But
about American culture. It's very impatient. We're very impatient, and sometimes I think we take for granted a lot of things. You know?
And Dennis, like, so the things that you said have really made me think. She's a researcher. I don't know what you would call her job, but we talked about this yesterday, Brenda. If you look on Instagram, if you look at the hashtag aesthetics of joy, so I talk about happy a lot. Happy is kind of my brand, but really what I'm talking about is joy. And joy is that soul deep thing that you're talking about with the people. And when I think about the culture that you're describing and the happy people, I don't think simple like simple-minded but what I think about is you guys there in some ways surrounded by color, surrounded by just a culture that values connection and people and savoring the food, the time. Like time there is like sacred. It's like when you're having a meal, you're having a meal. You're not rushing through it to get to the next thing or watching TV. Like you are savoring the food and the people. And I know that that's not every Mexican or every town or whatever, but when this culture, the Latin American culture that you're describing, I think about color and richness and warmth and people, and that's what I think of.
No, that's 100%. I couldn't. What comes to mind today? Like every time anybody is eating, it's always something that's courteous and polite. You always say "buen provecho" to anybody eating or sitting down. Like I think in the U.S. that's one thing. Even today, I'm just starting to get the hang of that. Like it's something I now do consistently all the time. Even when I walk to a restaurant, I see people eating. Like in the U.S., when you walk into a restaurant, you would never look at somebody, oh, enjoy your meal.
Yes.
It's weird, right?
But what's the
But it's
phrase?
like a very like, wait, provecho.
That's
buen provecho. Mm-hmm.
Enjoy. It means to enjoy. Like,
oh.
Mm-hmm.
I think we say it sometimes. It's not very common in the U.S. A waiter will say it, and that's it. No, I don't think.
But it's definitely you say it to people. Yes.
Yeah, it's like something here culturally. You say it automatically, like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or buenos dias. Like when you go to work, I think that's another thing. They're very, not like you said, not everybody, but one thing that because I'm sometimes in the morning, I'm just like. Don't talk. I sit there. I'm in my Zen mood. After 10:30, I'll have a conversation. But like I've gotten to the point now where it's like it's polite and it's proper to like say hi to every single person when you enter the room. Like they're very good at that. Like when you leave a party or you leave a gathering, like to go up and personally say goodbye to everybody. No, it's like an automatic thing. Mm-hmm. And that like, culturally, it's something that we're not really used to. I guess sometimes people don't take offense to it if you're at a big gathering and you just escape without saying, because in Mexico it takes an hour and a half to leave. Okay, it's not as you gotta start getting your stuff together before you intend on it, because it's a long process.
I love you, my people.
No, it's the best.
All true things. But my dad was born in Tampico.
Ah, cool.
Yes, and that's where my dad's family is. He still has a sister and a brother there. And definitely what you said a little while ago, they are just grateful people. Like they, appreciate everything they have, every meal, every, just every day. And they think they wake up that way. And I know my dad definitely instilled that in us. It may have been a bad day. We may be struggling in some way or another, but we're still here. We still have this roof over our head. Like definitely counts our blessings.
Like happy laughter. Like
yes.
Like when you work. Another thing working and living in Mexico has taught me a lot. The two experiences I've had in Mexico are very contradictory. When I lived in Monterrey, like I was a foreign exchange student. I lived in San Pedro, which is the most affluent city in all of Latin America. So I had two experiences here. Like I saw how it is, how the rich live here. And then now living here, I'm like, I don't know how to express myself. Like the experience that I had by switching positions, and people think I'm crazy. A lot of tourists that come here like, what are you doing? Even the people here, they're confused. Yeah. Once they know me and everything, like it's just, I think they understand that it's my journey, and it's just broadened my horizons and my life. I don't know what I've soaked up from this entire experience. Like, I know what it's like to work so many hours for little pay. Like even in the US, I think people a lot of times you live to work, etc. Like here I've learned like a lot of my life is at work here, you know? Like I mean it's 6 days a week, you have 1 day off, there's overtime, and the people that I work with as well, it's like they're always laughing, they're always happy. Yeah, they get frustrated, we all get frustrated, we get tired. But that attitude, like you say, it doesn't matter if you're struggling with whatever type of circumstance. Like here, they're very happy, naturally joyous people. Mm-hmm. Like that word that you go, they're just joyous, like something that comes from inside. Sometimes I look at her like, are we happy right now? Like it's pouring rain, there's lightning, like the guests are upset. Take me out of here. But they're so happy, like they get through the day, and it's, no, I don't know. It's inspiring. It's inspired me, this experience. Like I don't want to do it forever. The job that I have now, I want to move on and do something else. And it's almost that time, you know? Yeah. What I've learned there, I've learned numerous things. It's humbled me a lot. Like I feel like now I have the work ethic to really focus on a project. Anything I want to do, I know that I'd be able to do it. You know? I don't know. I've learned definitely not to take things for granted. I've learned to be more simplistic as well. Like I've learned that we don't need as much as we think we do. I'm gonna love to go shopping and buy new clothes right now, but I've learned like I have plenty. I have so many, and shoes, like things that I don't really need at this time. No, and the coronavirus, the cutback has taught me that, like to seek happiness in the things that are not material. You know? Yes. Like, I don't have a new phone. I don't have all those things, but traveling is definitely a priority. So that's one thing. Like I'm very good at saving money, and it's always like a big thing for me is to travel and explore. So I'm here, they give me time, I can go do things. I don't know, I've learned a lot here. I love this conversation, you guys. This is great. Is it random that it just goes all over the place? Is that typical? Or?
Oh yes. And I think that's the beauty of it is, you know, once we start talking, it's like, who knows where we're going to go. And okay. You just share. Yes, absolutely.
I don't even know what question you asked me.
Were you going to say something, Christy?
Well, no.
The question that started was branch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. This is part of it too, Dennis. It's like, no, you talk. What I was going to say was, you know, you were talking about what you've learned, but think about the ripple of that, because how many people do you encounter in a day? How many people do you encounter that may or may not put their phones down long enough to do the activity on the excursion? But when they see you, when kids see you, when adults see you, and the choices that you've made and how happy you are and how content you are, because contentment is also huge. You're impacting them like you impacted Brenda and her boys, you know?
I was 100% both of my boys, and especially, and my youngest, he's at a football game. He was so upset because he wanted to sit in on this. He's very excited, and Alex
was like, again for sure.
Yes, he's like, I can't wait to listen. But definitely, you impacted them in 3 hours. I just remember sitting on I guess we were put onto like a tram or something to take us to
the army truck.
Yes, on the truck. And so, and you're talking to the group and stuff, and my son's in my ear saying, I just like him. Oh, this would be a cool job. And so he was just watching you. And I just remember telling him, I'm like, I said, he's living here. He's happy. He has a job. And it's like, he gets to be around people and he's laughing and just having a good time. I was like, this could be something you could do. Like, you never know. And so they definitely were taken by you. And I text Christy a picture that we took at the end.
The selfie, right?
Yes. Before we left,
had like the Longhorns? The Longhorns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but when I look at the picture, you have your arms around us. You're looking at us like we've known you forever, and we're laughing and talking, and we've just had this amazing meal, which they talk about still to this day. The meal that Dennis made, they call it. But and I don't know what's going on in your head, but you made us feel like we definitely had a connection and that you cared about us and that you just made the time that we spent there just so amazing and fun. And we hated leaving, but we left feeling like, wow, like this is a great vacation. And how much fun was that? And, plus doing zip lining, that was the first time I'd ever done that. I'm afraid of heights, like all those things. There was this awesome Australian family that was in front of us. This girl, me and her were really scared. Kay, I remember her name.
You're the only one I remember. You three are the only one I remember from that group. I don't really. I remember you three 100%.
And I just kept thinking, okay, dial it down. Don't be a stage 5 clinger. Got a stalker here. Like I tried not to, but we could not help ourselves.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I can't. So do you have siblings?
I have one younger brother, actually.
Younger brother? And he's in Arizona also?
Yeah, he's married. He's we're so often. He's an aerospace engineer. His wife's an attorney. They have their house. They just have a baby. Like 2 different life paths, But he's happy too.
That's good. That's good. So
I'm an uncle now. 2 months ago, I think it was like 2 months ago.
Well, that's cool.
Hey.
And so Spanish. You are fluent in Spanish, and that makes me so excited. And you just said did you say you just gotten your, what did you tell us when we first got
permanent residence?
Permanent resident.
Like my permanent, yeah.
That
Something
is,
that's like, that was my goal.
That is
goal for this.
Awesome. So do you plan, I guess you said you've been there 5 years now. So is there kind of a plan? Where is your next move? Are you staying? You don't know?
He's impulsive.
Just go with the flow.
I can't wait to see where the flow takes you. You know what? Tomorrow he may pack it up and start wearing a tie.
India or something, So,
He's gonna do eat, pray, love.
Find a better job, wear a tie. I mean, like what you said, like being impulsive, I've always been like that. I think yes, but now I'm starting to crave more of that home base type of feeling where I root myself somewhere. And I start to think more of my future as well. I mean, I'm glad I did this when I was young, because when you do things like this in life, it's good that we're not guaranteed tomorrow, as everybody knows,
Right.
I know it sounds awkward. Most people understand. Like I would say, if my time were to be tomorrow, I would be happy with the life that I lived.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be ready. I would be regretting the decision that I made, or that I didn't make more money, or that I didn't climb a corporate ladder, and I didn't do something that didn't really invoke my spirit or make me passionate. I'm glad I explored. I'm glad I spent everything I had on doing the things that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm getting to that point where I want to. I hate criticism, and I hate listening to people above me. That's one of the defects that I have. I don't think I'm meant to be an employee. I'm meant to be like a sole employer, elite, right? Dennis 2035.
I may just
right? Start a campaign. I'm kidding. But I would love to start my own tour group, do an own like an Airbnb experience. And those are a big thing now. And I would have more time to focus on myself as well, improve myself as a person, have more time for me, or to start other projects, etc. It would be less time consuming, and I would still be doing a similar thing. I'd be meeting a lot of people, but it would be like my own. It would be my own company. I'd have more liberty. I don't know, more free time. That's one thing I'm thinking about right now. I'm gonna do it. I gotta just put it in my head and do it.
Do it. I love that.
No fear. See.
I think that sounds awesome.
I love it so much, and I love that too, because I always say this, there's always room for improvement. There's always, I've never been, I feel like I'm not a competitive person, but I always want to do better or improve. And I like that you talk about that. You know, some people just don't have
Some
that.
people just stay where they are. And I mean, I'll be honest, like right now I feel almost somewhat not in a semi-stagnant position. You know, I love my job. I like what I do. It's been fun. Obviously, you have rainy days and sunny days. Like some days are better than others. But at the same time, I don't see myself growing as much personally there anymore. No, I've learned a lot. I've improved my multiple languages. Like I've met people. I had a job I never thought I would have. Like I never thought I'd be a zipline tour guide ever. Like,
Yeah.
Totally random position. No, like never in my life would I have ever thought that ever. Even when I moved here to work in reception. And I feel like it's time for, like, I'm getting that nudge. Like my angels are pushing me to like do something else, you know? And whether or not I decide to leave, it'll eventually happen. That's some things you can't control. When it's your time, like you'll just be pushed on to your next
Right.
adventure.
Well,
So that's the idea that I have, was to do like a small, like a more intimate tour, and I hire a transportation agent and be my own boss. You know, like I give a small percentage to Airbnb or whatever, but those are the thing now. Like Airbnb experiences are a huge thing.
huge.
The idea that I have isn't something that exists really here yet. It's be like a modification of a different tour, but it's very unique. And I know it would be a total hit. So I'm planning everything right now, like looking up the places where I can go, seeing how the transportation with guests would be, so it would be all included, etc.
And you know what?
When it happens, I'll tell you.
Yes, I cannot wait to hear about it. And I think now with COVID, you know, that sounds like a more intimate experience where you can get small groups or whatever. And so I think that will also benefit. I cannot wait. I can't wait to sign up. So
Another
okay.
reason, that's such a good, because right now so many people, like,
Yeah.
Selvatica, it's not the same as it was before. Like the world, we all know this, the world has changed drastically. Like when you talk about like with connection and thing, like here it's even hard. Like you're so used, like in Mexico, whenever you greet somebody, it's almost automatic a hug or a shake hug. When you meet a woman or a lady, it's an automatic kiss on the cheek. Like intimacy has kind of gone down when it comes to human connection, and people are less connected. I mean, we're still connected, but I think there's less of that. Like imagine like for children, etc., like the way school has changed and things like that, like to make those genuine connections that are vital for human growth, the world's changed so much. Do you think it's going to stay like this forever? Or is this like what is this? Like a trial for the revelation? Or what's going on?
I don't know. I truly hope not, you know, but right now in the midst of it, it's hard to see any light at the end. No. Like what is, you know, and so I just have to like I've like to remind myself, today is today, one day at a time, you know, and make the most of it, find new ways to connect with people. Because it is definitely tough.
Like this, it's kind of cool. I'm loving this, you guys.
Yes.
Actually, this is a cool experience.
To see faces instead of like just, you know, like words. I love that you get to see faces and hear voices and hear tone of voice, because it's different. You know, if you just read my words, you're going to read it through through how you're feeling. But if you see my face on a Zoom and hear my voice, you know that I'm not grumpy with you. I just, you know, my words were whatever.
So Dennis, our podcast, we're big, we love music. And so our logo is a cassette, and all of our, yes, there it is, Normal Bias Podcast. All of our,
I got it.
Yeah. All of our episodes are a title of a song. And so it's, if I made you a mixtape,
but you're young to know what that is, but just go.
Definitely.
So yeah, so if I had made you a mixtape, I the song that popped in my head first of all was not the one that I ended up choosing, but I'll say it's an honorable mention. And it's funny, I love that your shirt says Mexico.
Oh, you can see it,
Mexico,
right?
Yes, Mexico, mi amor, in Mexico, my love. And the first song that popped in my head was Mexico Lindo y Querido by Vincent Hernandez.
Cool.
Yeah, so I loved that song. But I ended up going with Mexico by James Taylor. I don't know if you, yes.
No, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a fun song, but basically he's describing Mexico and how we have to go because it's just a cool place and life is like, you know, kind of stressful. So we're going to go to Mexico. It's a really fun song. James Taylor's original artist who wrote it, but there's a Jimmy Buffett also version that's really good. But I just, when I think of Mexico, I mean, I said this the first day we met, you said, you're brown on the inside, white on the outside. And it just,
you're the first person that said that to me. Actually.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And it just makes me happy that you see Mexico and you have not just gone to live there, but you've become one of the people. You are Mexican. And yes, and all, I just love everything that you are is what I think of that my dad's people, that our people are. You love life, you love people, you connect, you just all of those things, Dennis. Like, I just love you so much.
I'm blushing, you're turning red.
And I just know that you know, what Christy said too is like all of the people that you, in the 5 years that you've been there, may not have vocalized or, you know, said the things that how you impacted them. But I know without a doubt that you have reached more people than you even know. Like I just know you have. And even with the people, yes.
I don't even think that's my intention, but like, I appreciate that.
If it's not your goal to impress people,
you're probably right. I appreciate you saying that. That makes me feel good. No? Tomorrow I'm gonna go pick up my card and everything. But Saturday is gonna make me appreciate my job even more. I had a good day today. Actually, I had a really good day today with my group. Like I don't know. Like thank you.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias.
De nada. I watched you interact also with the people that you work with, and I know I could feel that too, that they're watching you, they're learning from you, and there was bonds and friendships there. I just loved watching that too, seeing how y'all were just good friends and y'all were all having so much fun, you know, hooking us up and helping us out. And I just loved that. And I kept telling my kids that too. It's like, you have to have fun whatever you're doing. And they were able to see that. And, you know, and I told them, I was like, you can do anything you want. I was like, but see that look on Dennis's face, that big giant smile, that joy.
Thanks.
Like that's the important part.
Because it is a great experience. It is a cool thing. I mean, people are like what you said, like for you, for instance, what people, they're doing something it's not something they could randomly do. They wouldn't really like to do it. It's not something they look forward to. Yeah. So like when you look around and you see what you're doing, like it's a sensation, it's new, you're flying through the air on a cable. I think to me, it's become more of a melancholic practice because it's something that I do so often.
Right. Like, that's mundane.
Sitting at my desk. It's not something I think about. So for that impact that you say that I have on people, I don't think I realize it as much because I'm on that. I've done this, 5,842 times. So to me, it's like the same thing, you know? But for these people, it's a life-changing day. It's something that they'll remember forever. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I'm their representative, like I'm that poster child for their experience. Like, you're probably right. I think I impact them more than I'm aware of. Definitely.
You do.
Sure.
Yes. And you make it fun. You made it. I didn't even think about it after a while. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Yes.
You would do it again, right?
I totally would do it again. Look at, I even took it, like I have my shirt.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Like one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
Cool. They put your name on it?
They put my name on it. Yes.
Is that from the wedding or from the place?
It's from the place.
That's from my work. Yep.
Yeah, from his work.
I'll put everybody's name on their shirts?
But you can. That was extra.
$5 more.
Yeah, it was extra. I treated myself. It was a splurge.
Save that one. That one's out of print. They no longer have that t-shirt.
Okay. I definitely will. Well, okay. So I know we have to wrap up, but
Yeah.
thank you for doing
Oh,
this.
7 minutes.
We have 7 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Time flew, you guys. It feels like 16. What super
I
fast.
know. See, we talk about this, and
That's
that's
great.
But
we.
to be fair, it takes us 10 minutes to say goodnight, Dennis. So like we we're talking about leaving a party in Mexico. You just described our everyday world because it's like, so when I go to edit the podcast, it'll start like 12 minutes before the end. Okay. So, and then one last thing. Oh, okay. Well, let's go. Oh, but, and then what about, well, okay, one more thing. And then, so
Oh,
doing
that's
this.
cool
So,
though. You guys have such good chemistry doing this thing together.
Oh, thank you.
I make an amazing duo for this. See, do you always do this? You always do it together, right? So you two are both the interviewers.
Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, so we each take a turn, or we've invited friends. So kind of how it became, after my dad passed, I just went on this soapbox about people are in your life on purpose. They're our paths cross for reasons, and also, because life is short, tell the people in your life how you feel about them, what they mean to you, and how they've impacted your life while you have the chance. And so that's what we do. We invite friends and just people in our lives that
Cool.
we kind of just.
Thank you for inviting me. I feel so bad. What did you first tell me that we were going to do this? What was it?
Oh my gosh.
oh, no,
not at all.
It was our day.
That's the other thing too, is like it happens when it's supposed to happen, So I looked forward to it, and here we are, and I know it's not our last conversation. Yeah.
No, I'm so down whenever.
So I can't wait to see where you go from here. I definitely, when I left the tour that day, I knew that I had not heard the last from you. And I just wanted the whole world to know who you were, because I don't know, you're just a bright light. You really are. You really are. You really are, Dennis. And so wherever you go, I know you're gonna take that light and shine it and use it for good, and just know that you are impacting people. And I think you've just you've only just started. So, and I know your Grams is so proud of you. What does she call you?
Dennis.
I just knew you were gonna say mijo. Something.
Yeah, mijo.
Never. No. She doesn't handle it and see me now. No, she does.
Oh, does she not speak Spanish?
No. No Spanish.
So you
she
have
came to Miami to visit me. Like in Miami, 90% of people speak Spanish. I'm like, I guess my grandma and I definitely we could pass as Cuban for sure. And so they would automatically just come up to us and they would start speaking. My grandma, no Spanish. You would love my grandma. She would. Oh my gosh! If you have to do a podcast with somebody, she is. You would love her. I hope one day that if I ever go to Houston with her, maybe one day, or I don't know, who knows, or you would love to do a Zoom podcast with her. She is such a beautiful person.
We can Zoom from Arizona.
Yeah, we can totally Zoom from Arizona. What's Graham's name?
Her life's the person. Linda.
Listen, Linda, we want you on this podcast.
She is definitely my inspiration. Talk about happy boy, she's had she's had a very tumultuous experience. She's very, I don't know, she is a light. I am a spark. That woman is like a light.
Okay, well,
she's happy all the time.
Well, when we have season,
I'll talk to her. See if we can work something out.
Okay, I want.
No, she's a pistol too. I can talk about her forever. Girls, shut up and talk about grandma forever.
Oh, I love it. I love that. I love that relationship. And this is what Christy and I, we love stories. Like now I'm put out in the universe, Linda. Season 2.
I think she
We're
was
gonna
fantastic.
dig. We're gonna dive
I love
deeper.
her. She's such a giver. That's what I would call her, as a giving person. Like she is. And she loves to talk too. She loves it.
So we'll plan that one on a night when I don't have to go somewhere at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank y'all for listening. Dennis, you're amazing and so fun. And I know that you're gonna have some more fans now.
Oh, thank you, girl.
One more thing though. One more thing.
Okay,
So
one more thing.
when we're done talking and I want to say, like, I was enchanted to meet, do I say, there's a way that you say that in Spanish, like encantado? What is that word?
Encantado. O encantada.
Encantada.
Because I'm a girl.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I would say after I met you.
Yes. Igualmente.
Hermano. I just love it so much.
Mana. I love this. This was an awesome thing. I'm gonna have a
Okay.
great night and a good day tomorrow because of this.
Oh,
One day at a time, like you said. You know?
yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. I love this conversation, you guys.
I am
I
so.
think it was a beautiful conversation.
Maybe
Aw,
you needed
thank
to
you.
hear some of those things. Maybe you needed to see yourself the way that the world sees you, Dennis.
I think that. Thank you. So from me to you, thank you so much for that. Like you made me, I don't know, you gave me warm fuzzies.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad I could do that for you because
No, and I'll do this again. So what, next week?
yes. Oh my gosh. All right, Dennis. Well, you have enjoyed the rest of your night. And like I said, this is only just begun.
No, thank you, girls. And thank you so
Okay.
much for your words. I love this. Virtual hugs, okay?
Yes, virtual hugs.
So we'll say hasta luego because we'll do it later. Right?
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto.
Gracias. Buenas noches.
Okay, bye, Dennis. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, y'all. Are you still watching? Are you still listening?
We're so glad that you're still with us. If you want to connect online, we're at www.normalbiaspodcast.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. And our very favorite, if we made you a mixtape, we'd put all those songs on our Spotify playlist for you.
All the things.